Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Future Salespeople's Weekly Sales Round Robin. I'm Andrew Voislavic, and as always, I'm joined by the illustrious, one and only, Alex Guest. Alex, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Andrew.
Awesome. Well, partner, today we're here to talk about a topic that's near and dear to our heart and to many of our viewers' hearts as well. And the stat that I wanted to kick off the conversation of the dialogue around with today is that formal sales coaching improves quota attainment by 10% and almost impacts win rates by almost 20%. The theme of this week is sales training's best practices. Alex, how excited are you?
I don't think I'm nearly as excited as you are about this because you did spend a pretty good stint in the sales training and sales consulting arena before Future Salespeople. So I know this is very near and dear to your heart.
That is absolutely true. And so really today, one of the reasons why we wanted to bring up sales training best practices is we hear from a lot of organizations, whether they have strong sales leadership right now, or they're aspiring to be more of a sales focused culture, is that they just don't know how or where to start with their sales training, what best practices look like, or even what are some example trainings. And so that's really what we wanted to share in this conversation today. And the first thing we wanted to break it up into is just talk about the real key to success within sales training. And that really comes down to consistency. And really, the name of the game here is if you're going to go after sales training, it can't be a one and done event. You have to plan on doing it routinely. And so what Alex and I have put up on the screen here is really our preferred sales training format in an ideal world. This is an ideal world, and this is a twice weekly format. And it's typically happening in two different ways. We're big proponents of a couple different things. First and foremost, team training. It's a great way to build camaraderie, great way to bring your team together. Number two is going to be on one-on-ones. That's where you and one of your sellers, it could be you as an executive and one of your sellers are working together. Very intensive, very specific to the individual. And then finally, that last layer that we're big fans of in training is mentorship. This could be mentorship with somebody inside of your four walls, somebody outside of your four walls, somebody who's sold your product, somebody who's never sold your product whatsoever. These are where we see organizations gain the most results in their sales training efforts and having a consistent way of doing it. Mr. Guest, what did I drop the ball on here today, sir?
So I think the biggest things on this is consistency. You want to make sure that you are dedicating time to the team training and then putting it in the right area across your week and your calendar so it has the biggest impact. With team trainings, Friday afternoons are usually best. It's when people are winding down, they're a little lower energy. So as long as you're not hitting that peak call time of about 2 to 4 p.m. And putting your team meeting in there, maybe do it just after lunch, do it just after 4 o'clock, maybe roll that into a happy hour. That's going to be most effective from a team training perspective, from our perspective. With one-on-ones, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are the days you want to target because it gives your team the ability to prepare. Monday, they're going to be busy, so they'll have time to prepare maybe Tuesday for their one-on-one. And then you also want to make sure that they have time to take action on anything that you discuss on the one-on-one. They don't just forget it over the weekend. We're planning on doing it next week. So Thursday is really the latest you want to do it so they have time to execute that on Friday. And then when it comes to mentorship, it can be like the image here, coffee, but it can also be mentorship in the form of a ride-along. So maybe someone joins a call as a silent party, and the mentee, their job is to take notes and to ask questions at the end. Those are the two biggest things that they need to take out of that mentorship, and that's really discretionary based on the timing. Both parties, both the mentor and the mentee, need to have everything else done, or they need to be on track to have all of their other goals achieved in order for both parties to participate in that. And it's a great way to provide some career growth to both parties because it helps the mentees and it helps the mentors if they're looking to become a team leader or manager, something like that. Moving on to the topic areas, we believe that you want to spread out your different sales trainings into 3 different categories. The first being process, and this is really your business, your solution, your sale. So going through your ICPs and personas, your sales stages, how you do account mapping. And then also it's a great opportunity to bring in any product managers into the fold to directly train your sales team on upcoming features, releases, what have you. Then there's going to be skills. This is more going to be around improving the performance or the execution on a day-to-day basis. So this is training people on how to do time blocking, specific rejection responses, not only for your product, but more around the general attitude of rejection response. How to do adequate call planning, what a good demo rehearsal looks like, all going to fall into that skill category. And again, helping with day-to-day execution. And then finally, there's the knowledge piece of this, and this is going to be investing into the individual. So driving their business acumen so they can better understand the choices that you're making as a business, but then also better understand the impact that your solution makes at your customer's business. Data analysis is a great way to get a better idea of what's going on in the business, how they contribute to it, strategies, again, around the different choices that you're making and how they contribute as an individual and as a team. Sales theory, so having them read different books, introducing them to different types of sales theory or methodology. And then finally, cross-training, which is one of my favorites. Bring in a leader from another team at your organization, whether it be marketing or customer success. It helps build those bridges, which drives more collaboration. And it also helps with internal capital and just helping your team work better with others. Beyond the three topical areas, really one of the things that we drive is the diversification of different formats in this training. If you just get up in front of your team every Friday and talk to them, they're going to get bored. All of a sudden, you're going to see sales calls that are overlapping with that time. That time should be sacred, should be something that they're interested in joining. So mix it up a little bit. And this also helps tap into different learning styles. Back in elementary school, we all talked about visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learners. If you go through case studies, it's different than having somebody confirm knowledge that you've taught them through a quiz. If you want to go for a more mastery-based component, teach them something, and then the next week have them train you on it so you know that they've fully captured all of those details. Role playing is really popular within sales, and it doesn't need to be just role playing on a call. You can set up a situation for your team. Each person can respond in how they would react to that, the questions that they would ask. Collaborative brainstorming is a great way to get the entire team involved, and you might learn some new things on potential solutions to problems or issues that you're facing. And then finally, book clubs. With book clubs, it's a great way to drive that sales theory methodology. You can get some cross-training in by reading a marketing book or reading a business book or a strategy book. And I think the biggest key to success here is going to be making people buy the book, because then they have $10, $15 of their money invested into the game. And that is going to drive more engagement for those that participate. What did I miss, Andrew?
I think it's great to have people have skin in the game when it comes to buying their own sales literature. I, as an employer, and I, as a coach, would gladly buy any book that my team would want. That's just the one thing. It's not a hot take or any stretch of the imagination, but I think it would be kind of fun and maybe tease apart with some of those viewers in the comments is when it comes to to skills, to process knowledge, which of these different types of modalities have resonated the best with your team? I'd be curious to see that in the comments. But outside of that, nothing much. And I know this is something you wanted to share because we're working on helping people implement a culture of training within their organization.
You've got it. So quick calendar snippet here. Again, put your team one-on-ones Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Make sure you have a calendar invite for yourself on training prep, because you want to make sure you're setting time aside in advance, not 30 minutes in advance of your Friday team training,
right?
But preferably at least a day, maybe a day and a half in advance, like we have here. Worst case scenario, team training takes a lot of time, energy, and effort. So if you don't have those kinds of resources today, we do recorded team trainings that are 30 minutes. They are particularly designed to help sales teams more in the skill and knowledge areas, so around better execution and investing in the individual. So if you do ever have any questions, feel free to reach out and we can design a weekly subscription training program for your team.
Sounds great. As Alex mentioned, please reach out to us. We're happy to develop that bespoke custom team training for you all. What we have coming up next is expanding and honing value in your conversations or in your sales process. As always, we appreciate your likes, your comments, your subscribes. Thanks and take care.
Thanks, everyone.